Hi everybody, welcome along to my healthy eating talk today. So thank you so much to Claire for inviting me along. If you just give me 1 second, I just want to adjust the lighting. So that's a little bit better now. So yes, thank you very much to Claire for having me along. My name is Anya Boyle and I am a nutritional therapist and a chef, and my business is Good Food Nutrition. So I am based in Newry in County Down, and I had met Claire through one of the women's groups that we actually are involved together with. So she asked me to come along tonight just to have a little chat to the group, and tonight we're going to be talking all about sort of making healthy eating as easy as possible. So I'm sure many of you in the group are mums or dads or responsible for families or children, and this is a time when I find that people sort of get a little bit overwhelmed and they're trying to make sort of healthy changes and putting new habits in place, but unfortunately as it all gets a little bit too much and a little bit too complicated. So tonight I am going to give you plenty of tips and ideas, very practical, that you can put into place straight away. And it is sort of geared towards feeding people no matter what stage of life they're at. So be it that if you are feeding yourself or you're feeding babies, teenagers, you're looking after older people as well, it's healthy tips and healthy ideas that you can put into practice for absolutely every age group. So there's a couple of things that I find is, I'll sort of come at it as if I'm, how I would advise my own clients as well, okay? So I think when it comes to sort of looking to put in place sort of nice simple dishes, simple snacks, is that excuse me, is that key is that it's preparation. Okay, so when we're talking about preparation, we're not talking about you being stuck in the kitchen for hours on end all the time. These are simple little bits of preparation, simple little tips that you can put in place, and it means that you're not tied to the kitchen sink or the cooker for hours on end. So a couple of little things we're going to touch on tonight. We're going to touch on being prepared. We're going to touch on meal planning and basically the advantages of meal planning, which is phenomenal, believe me. And also as well is I'm going to give you lots of ideas for healthy snacks as well. So if there's any of you watching and you do want to ask questions, please fire away and comment below. Now, sometimes on my phone, the comments don't show up. So if I don't answer your comment as you typed it, it means I can't see it. I do have my laptop in front of me to try and see what's going on. But again, if I do miss it, I will promise you I will come back to you afterwards as well, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is being prepared. Okay, and this folds into your meal planning idea as well. So I find it's a lot easier, particularly when you're cooking for families or more than say one or two of you in the house, it's a lot easier if you are putting together some sort of meal plan. Now, when we're talking about meal plan, we're not talking about it like over a month or even over 2 weeks or anything like that, or even over a week. It's whatever suits you yourself. It can be meal planning over 3 or 4 days, but the idea of what it is that you're sitting down and you're looking at the dishes that you like and the repertoire of dishes that you like, and you are making a plan as to what you're going to eat, say on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night and Thursday night. If you want to go the 7 days, that's fine. But what it does is it takes that stress out of it, that you don't have to come in every day, particularly now as people are going back to work, it takes away that stress of when you come back in the house or you finished work from home, if you're working from home, if you're finished work for the day, where you're not panicking thinking, what am I going to cook? It also is fantastic for also cutting down your food bills as well, okay? So it's one of those where you know exactly what you're putting into your shopping basket every week, okay? So things like where, I would always say to people is that when it comes to meal planning even if it means getting yourself a little folder or something like that, is put together maybe 20, 30, 40 of your favorite recipes, ones that you know work, ones that you know that you can cook confidently, okay? And you can either keep those in an online sort of folder or keep them like in an actual physical folder in the kitchen. Each week is, you can get the family involved in this as well, is that you can pick out, say, your favorite 5 or 7 recipes from that week. that's going to be your meal plan. You do the same for your dinner, you do the same for your lunches as well, and you do the same for your breakfasts. But what it is as well is it means that you have a definite plan of what you are eating each week, what's going into your shopping basket. Remember as well is that all of these meals, breakfast, lunches, dinners, can all be interchangeable as well. Is that one of the things I do say to my own clients is that you can have your lunch meal for dinner. You can have your dinner meal for lunch. I sometimes have lunch meals for breakfast. Okay, it's very, very interchangeable. There's nothing to say that it's set in stone that you must have porridge for breakfast. There are many times I have overnight oats for lunch or porridge for lunch as well. Is that just get used to the fact is it doesn't matter where you're having the meal during the day is, you know, as long as it's filled with nutritious food as well. Okay, so the meal planning, I'm just looking at my notes here as well, guys. My meal planning, again, is saving you lots and lots of time, but it's also saving you money as well. But it also means as well is that if you have fussy eaters in the house, is that they know what's coming, okay? They know what to expect. So if you have younger kids in the house that are very, very fussy on meals, is they can see on the fridge is this is what we're going to be having on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and it means is that you're likely to get less sort of resistance when it comes to those meals as well. So getting your little repertoire together, your little folder of all your favourite recipes, and then just add to them constantly. At the end of this video as well is I'm actually going to give you a link to my own website with lots of recipes. I'm also going to give you a link to my online library as well with tons of recipes. So you'll be coming down with recipes for the next few weeks anyway. So the next thing I'd say is that being prepared. If when it comes to the meal planning as well, I would say to you is bulk cooking is great, okay? But don't start trying to bulk cook on a Monday night after you've finished work or a Tuesday night, because you'll just give it up and the whole lot will go in the bin. So pick a time, even if it's an hour or 2 hours at the weekend, where you know you have the time to basically maybe bulk cook some casseroles, some soups, some stews, anything like that, even some nice chilies. It could be, you could make something like even chilies that you can freeze and then you can take out during the week as well. So that is being prepared with your time as well. So that goes alongside your meal planning as well. Now, in terms of healthy snacks as well, I suppose is really what we are looking to include is what I would term lots of low GL carbohydrates in there as well. Some good quality lean protein in there. You've got your healthy fats in there as well, okay? And I suppose we're talking about really limiting sugar as well, okay? So some ideas for breakfasts that I would suggest to my own clients, and even I have in my own house, is, as I said before, is your breakfasts do not have to be the traditional porridge or scrambled eggs and toast or those traditional things. Is you can have leftovers from the previous night's dinner. You can have leftovers from the previous lunch. I frequently do that. And again, that means that your leftovers means that you are more prepared. But if you're not sort of pre-making it, some ideas for your breakfast as well. Something like your porridge, okay, and if you are a porridge lover, is that I would encourage you as well is to start bulking up your porridge. I'm talking about putting things like essential fats in there, like your omega fats, like your ground flaxseed, your ground chia seeds in there as well, your ground linseed in there. Even adding in a little bit of nut butter in there as well. You can add in some lovely fresh berries in there as well as some blueberries, some raspberries, some pumpkin seeds in there. Great source of protein to balance up your dish. But also as well is that your pumpkin seeds a really healthy fat and also contains lots of nutrients as well to support your immune system as well. Okay, so moving on again on the oats front, if you don't like porridge, another one that I like is the overnight oats, okay? Again, the overnight oats is I would frequently make them, and if I don't fancy them in the morning, I can have them for my lunch in the afternoon or as an afternoon snack as well. Again, your overnight oats is get used to adding in, bulking them up with your flax seeds, your chia seeds. If you looking to maybe turn them a little bit chocolatey, a little bit of raw cacao powder in there as well. You can add in some grated or some desiccated coconut in there as well. You can add in the zest of an orange. You can add in some lemon zest in there. You can add in your chia seeds. Basically, you can add in whatever you like in there, okay? Again, for your breakfast as well, there's nothing wrong with, say, your regular sort of scrambled eggs, whole grain toast as well. But I would say to you is, particularly with breakfast, it often gets forgotten, is you want to make sure that you are getting some form of vegetables, be it salads, vegetables, or some sort of berries or fruit or whatever into your breakfast as well. It means then that what you're doing is, rather than sort of getting halfway through the day or to your dinner where you have to pile 5 portions on, you're sort of splitting 2 portions in the morning for breakfast, 2 portions for lunch, and 2 portions for dinner, and already you're up to 6 portions as well. Okay, the other one is as well is I sometimes will make, if I know I'm on sort of on the go at breakfast time, is that I will make some homemade no sugar flapjacks, okay? And I'll bulk them up again with seeds, with pumpkin seeds, with walnuts, almonds, all that type of thing. A little bit of coconut oil in there, a little bit of nut butter in there as well. And what you're doing is, it's almost like a little power breakfast bar. So if anybody would like that recipe, is just comment below on the video, and I'm more than happy to share that recipe as well. It's an absolute lovely one. And with the kids going back to school now as well, it's one that you can wrap in a bit of cling film, pop into their bag, and you know that in mid-morning, mid-afternoon, they've an absolutely powerhouse of a snack as well. Okay, so when it comes to lunches again, your lunches is things like your salads are obviously fantastic, but we're coming out of salady weather now. So start thinking about things like, even like your, I can see somebody saying yes please for the pancakes. For the flapjacks, I shall send them to you. I actually have a lovely pancake recipe, I can send that through as well. So yes, for your lunch is, start thinking about things possibly like bulked up, almost like broths. So instead of just smooth soups as well, things like chunky broths that you can pop in, sort of chickpeas, cannellini beans, some lentils, some chopped chicken, turkey, prawns, something like that, that is more like a mini meal as well, okay? Those type of things you can freeze brilliantly as well, okay? There's nothing to stop you if you want to have sandwiches and stuff like that, but I think is for any of us that are probably don't eat an awful lot of bread, as well as we tend to sort of maybe stay away from just the sandwiches and wraps as well, okay? Think about things for lunch as well is, when you're at the supermarket, is one of my favourites for a very quick and speedy lunch is something like the lovely falafels, okay? These are like the little sort of balls made out of chickpea flour. There's often spices and herbs and all in there as well. And you can get, for anybody that is celiac or gluten intolerant, you can buy gluten-free versions, dairy-free versions. They're absolutely brilliant, okay? So what they are is, they're like a ready-made little dish then that you can sort of break those onto salads. And again, is what they are, they're a really good source of protein as well, okay? So it's really important in your meals that you are balancing your meals up with your really sort of low GL carbohydrates, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, and your proteins, okay? So when we're talking about the GL or the GI of a carbohydrate, is we're talking about basically is the type of sugar in it, okay? So things like your white breads, your white pasta, your white rice, they're considered high GL foods. And your low GL foods are your brown rice, say your whole wheat or your buckwheat pasta, your whole grain breads as well. And the difference between them is that your high GL foods is that when they hit the bloodstream, is they give you this massive surge in energy, but then they give you a massive dip afterwards. With your low GL carbohydrates is you get that lovely steady release of energy all the way through the day. So you want to be sort of packing up your meals with more low GL carbohydrates, combined with a really nice good quality protein. Again, in your meals, your proteins can be your meat or your fish, but also as well as mix it up and have your plant proteins as well. Very filling, and again, lots and lots of fibre nutrients there as well. So things we're talking about for your plant proteins, your lentils, your chickpeas, kidney beans, cannellini beans as well in there as well. Okay, even another one that's brilliant as well is your quinoa. Again, in supermarkets they have pre-cooked packets of quinoa. Nothing wrong with buying those. If it means that you're going to eat properly, don't be afraid of buying the really good quality pre-cooked like rices and quinoas and beans and stuff as well. Okay, so you can pop those on for lunches. So salads, you can have your salads, your warm salads. or you, as I say, is nice chunky broths as well as things like your chickpeas, things like hummus in there as well, okay? There are so many ideas. Again, your dinners and your lunches are very interchangeable. I suppose if you don't mind eating the same thing, you know, if everybody's not eating in the house, there's nothing to stop you having part of your meal for lunch and having the same thing for dinner. But if you're like me, maybe you want to mix it up a little bit. So what you could do is sort of make two dishes, say for example, big chunky broth, nice chicken casserole, or even something like a vegetarian stroganoff. And then what you can do is you can mix and match that around for 3 days, have half for lunch, have half for dinner the next day, and mix and match around as well. So the idea is you don't want to be making too much work for yourself as well, guys, okay? Is that whatever you're going to be cooking, bulk cook it, double it, treble it, quadruple it, and freeze it, okay? That's your meal planning that really sort of gives you back your time in the kitchen as well, okay? So what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to give you a few ideas that I love for simple snacks, okay? The one thing I will often hear from my own clients is that the meals they kind of get and they're okay with them as well, but then when they get hungry, they're never sometimes too sure what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat, okay? So a few ideas here is that I have written down here is some ideas for your healthy snacks as well. Is something like, somebody's just asked here, is soybean spaghetti a good alternative to white pasta? I will be perfectly honest with you, Vashti, I have never heard of soybean spaghetti, so I don't know what it is, but I think when it comes to pasta, probably in my house is, I tend to stick more with things like buckwheat pasta, red lentil pasta. They're gluten-free pastas, but they're easier on the digestive system. I guess my only concern, I don't know what soybean spaghetti is, but I guess my only concern is that with soya products is that I don't recommend very heavily processed soya products, so I don't know what it is. But I tell you what, if you want to even private message me afterwards, we can have a chat about that as well. I can see you're saying it's low carb here as well. Yeah, okay. Get in touch privately. PM me afterwards, Vashti, and we'll have a chat about that one. As I say, I've never actually heard of it. Okay, so some healthy snack ideas is something like is what I made yesterday back from holidays. I thought I need to stock up the cupboards. I made a homemade granola. It took me 5 minutes. In there with the gluten-free oats, some nice olive oil, cinnamon, lots of cinnamon as well to sort of calm those sugar cravings. Some raw cacao powder as well, lots of almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds in there, and I roasted it off for a couple of minutes in the oven. We have granola in my house now for over a week, okay? So nobody says that you can only need granola in the morning. I sometimes have a granola for my dessert after dinner, or in the middle of the afternoon if I'm feeling like I need something to give me a bit of energy. I sort of mix and match there between the breakfast and the snack ideas as well. The flapjacks I spoke about earlier on, as I say, is I'm more than happy to share this. So if you do want the recipe, is just pop up a comment there in the box below, and I'm more than happy to share that. Again, it's a really handy idea. No sugar in it as well, so you're not putting loads and loads of extra sugar in there as well. Other things as well that I like is a trail mix. You get yourself a little jam jar, rinse it out, clean it all out, and pop in there a mix of your raw nuts, so like raw walnuts, almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. You can pop in some dried cranberries, maybe some raisins if you want in there. I love the raw cacao nibs, and they're like a very, very, very bitter little chocolate bite. But again, is during the day, a couple of spoonfuls of that, it gives you a great little pick-me-up, and it's very high protein as well, so it will keep you full for longer. So if you find that between lunch and dinner time is you have that afternoon slump because you're getting hungry as well, as a trail mix is a brilliant idea there. Other ideas as well is you could go for oat cakes and some hummus. If you like making your soups, your chunky soups or whatever, nothing to stop you having a nice big mug of chunky soup as a snack, okay, mid-morning and mid-afternoon. Just make sure as well with your soups is that you're popping in your protein source there. I like the red lentils as well because they're a good high source of protein, and it balances off that soup dish as well, okay? Other things as well is leftovers from the day before. Do you know what I mean? If you don't need to warm them up, even better. One of my favourites is things like veggie sticks, like, you know, cucumber, peppers, carrots and all, and different flavours of hummus. I'm a bit of a hummus monster, so I love all different types of hummus as well. So have a little look. Again, just be careful of the ingredients in it. Make sure there's no added sugar and no added salt in there as well, okay? But again, hummus, chickpeas, very high in protein, very, very good for you as well. A great source of fibre and a great source of nutrients as well in there for you. Other ones as well, my favourite is nut butters. Now my favourite is, sometimes I make it and sometimes I buy it, is almond butters. So things like almond, hazelnut, cashew butters. Again, be careful on them to make sure they don't contain any added sugar in there as well. So you only really want nuts and a little bit of salt. Good varieties are Whole Earth, they do an organic range. Meridian are another great one as well. And there also is a third one, they've kind of reduced the range they have, but they're called Pip and Nut. And they sell those in Tesco's and Sainsbury's, I know for sure. But again, I know they're quite pure as well. So things like nut butter as well on some oat cakes, or even on slices of apple as well, absolutely beautiful. And it's a really perfectly combined, well-balanced snack as well. What else did I put here? Oh yes, your overnight oats as well, as we spoke about for your breakfast as well, as they are a fantastic mid-afternoon snack as well. Is even like a small jar of them as well, is half of that, and I guarantee it'll fill you all the way to dinner as well. And then as well is the another fantastic snack as well, is a healthy snack, or it can be your breakfast as well, I often use it as, is a really, really good, well-balanced smoothie, okay? Never underestimate the power of a smoothie, okay? And when I'm talking about smoothies, I'm not talking about fruit smoothies. I'm talking about, say, your NutriBullet cup. Half of it is full with your leafy greens, be it your kale and your spinach. And again, I would urge you as well is choose organic in these, because they do tend to be sort of quite heavily sprayed. So your leafy greens, so your kale, your spinach, even rocket in there if you like, or your spring greens. I would say 1 portion of fruit, and I would urge you maybe more the darker berries. Lots, very rich in antioxidants and vitamin C as well for immunity there as well, especially now with the change of seasons. And then if you like it, I like mine with water, but if you like it, you can add in your milk, you can add in your oat milk, your almond milk, whatever you like. Now, once you've got that in as well, you want to boost your smoothie. So again, you're adding in things like, it might be your green powders, it could be more pumpkin seeds, it could be a protein powder, it could be flaxseed, chia seeds, anything like that as well, okay? Some people like those superfood powders as well, but I would say to you, if you're going to make a smoothie, is make sure that you're packing in as much as you can in there in the form of goodness, okay? So if you don't like taking like flaxseed and chia seeds and seeds and all into the smoothie, blend them till they're smooth, and it's a great way of getting them into you as well, okay? So again, is if you find that you are making your smoothies is half in the morning, half in the afternoon as well. The rules are completely up to yourself as well. So let me just look and see what else here I had put in as well is, is just again, looking at the recipes that you have and the recipes that you're comfortable making, sorry. So if you're doing meal planning and meal prepping and bulk cooking, that's not the time to start getting adventurous. I would say is go with the meals that you're comfortable making. Get them into your repertoire and then use them as your meal planning going forward as well. Another little snack just come into my head actually that I like as well is those nice whole grain rice cakes as well. I mean, don't go too mad on them, but they are lovely as well, say for a mid-afternoon or a mid-morning snack with some nice hummus, some nice flavoured hummus, or even with some nice nut butter as well, okay? There'll be enough to sort of stave off the hunger until lunchtime or dinner time as well. And the one thing I will say about the healthy eating is that it would never, or sort of healthy food choices and healthy snacks and all, it would never be complete without making sure that you are getting your water into each day, okay? So at least 1.5 litres of filtered water, up to 2 litres. And I would say is if you like your herbal teas as well, is you can substitute your herbal teas for some of your waters as well. So if you're looking to get, say, 1.5 litres of water into you a day, is maybe if you get 1 litre of the plain unfiltered water, or sorry, filtered water, and I mean plain, like not sparkling, not flavoured or anything like that is, and then a couple of cups of your herbal tea as well, and again, that is up in your water intake. So we sometimes forget about it, but your water is as essential as your food, because your dehydration can sort of lead to all sorts of things as well. Your tiredness, sleepiness, brain fog, all of that as well. So I have covered quite a bit there quite quickly as well. So if anybody's any questions, feel free to pop them up now. What I will say as well is sometimes I know is that people aren't very confident in the kitchen, and they sort of struggle, and they would say, look, I don't know what to make, I don't know what ideas to get, and they get a bit of a mental blank. So on my website, which is www.goodfoodnutrition.co.uk, if you go, there's a recipe section there, okay? There is tons of lovely, very, very simple recipes there. There's also one called, which you will love, Guilt-Free Chocolate Treats. Absolutely lovely in there as well. So feel free to go in there and have a look. The other thing as well, if you're the type of person who's very visual and you're not sure then is, there's also a cookery video section there. So if it's one that you like to, if you prefer to sort of cook along with something, I have tons of cookery videos on there doing tons of different types of dishes as well, and some of them baking as well. So there's also that as well if you want to have a look at that as well, okay? And then I would just like to say is that for anybody that is sort of lacking in inspiration, or we're coming out of summer and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to cook the kids for dinner, what lunches am I going to make as well, is that on my website as well, I'll put the link up afterwards, there is a free library for people to basically go on and have a look. There's recipe books on there, there's meal planning books on there as well, so there's plenty of ideas on there if you are basically just looking for a little bit more inspiration as well. So guys, I think we've covered a lot there. I didn't want to overwhelm you tonight, but what I will say is that, I'm in the group here anyway, so if you have any questions whatsoever about anything I spoke about tonight, or if you're unsure of anything that I was speaking about in terms of the healthy snacks, healthy breakfasts as well, is that you can either comment below once I share the video, or by all means, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, is you can send me a private message, and I am more than happy to give you a few tips, maybe a few recipes if you need them or whatever, but I'm more than happy to do that, so feel free as well. So I'm just going to check if anybody has any other questions just in the next few seconds as well. I can't see anything else coming up there, but as I say, sometimes the comments don't come up straight away. So if I do see them afterwards, I will reply to you as well. I can't see anything else coming through there. So guys, thank you so much for joining in tonight. Really appreciate that, so I'm not actually talking to myself. Thank you very much to Claire for having me on here. And as I say, is that if you have any questions at all, is just get in touch. More than happy to answer as well. But I will put up the link for the free recipes and all underneath the video as well. So guys, thank you so much, as I say, and have a wonderful night. Take care now. Bye.